Okay, oh, there's my chat window. Man. Oh, there it is. Okay, hey, everyone. All right, welcome to CG Spectrum's illustration block. Um, I am your host, Eric Wilkerson. I'm one of the illustration mentors, concept art mentors here at CG Spectrum. So today I'm going to be playing with a little portraiture. We came here for a follow-up to that dope Star Wars inspired piece from last week. I think I'm gonna take that to a full painting and then try to sell it. So, uh, and that's gonna be more of an involved process of creating, and I don't have time to do that. I mean, I could probably build it up in the stream, but for 2 hours a week, that would probably take like a month before you saw any real progress. So I'll probably pop in with it intermittently to show progress on the piece. But for right now, I just want to come in here and have fun with a little portraiture. So if you're a student of CG Spectrum, if you're watching this now or later, the link to or the photos that I'm using for reference are posted in the general DigiPaint channel. So feel free to grab those and you can paint along with me, um, or stare at my lovely hoodie. Okay, so I'll get started. I don't know if I'm gonna do the flowers, so and have some fun with this. I hope everyone can hear me wherever you are. All right, let's just dive in. I don't know how much of this I'm gonna be sitting here trying to make out, just kind of eyeballing it. Figure I want to try and do as much as I possibly can. Time that I have. So So this reference was provided to us courtesy of Howard Lyon, sci-fi fantasy illustrator, currently working Wizards of the Coast and the Magic the Gathering card game, and has a really sweet studio setup. So I've seen from photos. So able to just hire models to come in and shoot this kind of quality reference um, for the figure. And I like doing like profile shots of the figure. Really fun. It's like less face. Still takes just as long. It's so weird. It just takes just as long to draw less face as it does the whole head. So I know I probably waste a lot of time trying to just freehand draw this instead of just tracing over it and then rendering. But this is as much practice for me as it is for you whenever you or if you do something like this. I don't know if I'm going to do the flowers. I think I already said that. Ah, heck. I'll imply it. Graphic blobs thing. Going for any kind of real accuracy there. So I'm just kind of trying to make little landmarks. Since I've established the back of the head, making little landmarks on the head so I can check my alignments from the back of her braids to the tip of her nose. Like, what is the length? I need to find out what the length of that, or the width, what the width is from tip to tip. Edge of her hair, tip of her nose. And if anybody has any questions, any art related stuff that you'd like to know, feel free, type it in the chat. Otherwise, I will just sit here and just work and pretend that you're not just staring at me. Okay. I do not know where I got this hoodie. Probably from like an online catalog or something. Something high-end quality. This would be a great opportunity to play with different skin tones, variations in the skin. I did a little some warm-up sketches before this. I remember last week I hadn't really warmed up properly before trying to dive into something. Always good just to get your hands, get your mindset right, your head right, your prepare yourself to sit and just draw. It's not always perfection every time you start off to do something. Cool, Patrick, go for it. Like, I don't know how much of this, I might just focus on the drawing of this for the next 2 hours instead of doing an actual painting. I should install a sound effect that shows people drop out of the channel or the stream. You hear me say something that disappoints. Came here. The voltage dropping, or the wrong buzzer on Jeopardy. Trying to use a brush. Get this in. I should probably start to put the rest of my little lamps in here. No. So right now, if you're like, well, why isn't he drawing faster? What's he doing? Why does he keep staring at his pen? Right now, I'm just checking my vertical and horizontal alignments. Something that I do. If we were to just take a pencil and just like, line it up with her eye and see, like, typically we can see, like, where the chin is. So I made that mark there. So it's in alignment with like the edge of her eye, chin. I can safely come in here and more or less like connect the dots as to like what her face is doing. Alex, hello, how are you? Oh, that's very kind of you, sir. And I'm already seeing that my alignments, my size of her head is completely wrong. So I'm going to take another measurement and scale quite a bit there. So that's the beauty of focus. Ooh, come on. Just make sure that there. This and just draw. drawing a face, painting a face, it's all like a wonderful little puzzle. Because putting all of these pieces together, having it come out with a pleasing result, challenge, totally a challenge. Probably shouldn't get too caught up with certain details before the whole head blocked in. I like to at least establish something as I go. It actually is. It's so that's so true. I mean there's some people that just want to just dive right in and just start painting and stuff, and I feel like I'd rather have at least a decent drawing. It might not be perfectly accurate, but at least start of something decent rather than try to rush through it just to get something on the page. A little subtle mouth, lips, shading, shading within the piece, light, light on, beautiful. And I'll probably just come in with on another layer, come in with a render and shade stuff. But for right now, this will do. So hope everybody's staying safe in whatever country you're in, wearing your masks, washing your hands, that stuff. Getting the lips right will be I can get the lip happy. Sometimes it's and it's simple, the little thing. The rest of it. Should probably have some music going. Have any sick beats for? Just have to listen to me breathe into the microphone. Oh. If you're watching this and drawing along with me, let me know. Just like shout out. I like to just curious, like how many people are just staring while uh Cheerios or something. How many actually working on something? What's up? I have no idea. I'm okay. So you're 3D animating while I'm drawing. Cool. All right. Selly pencil dust. All right, cool. Just curious. Just curious where everybody's at, what they're doing right now. Right on. So I am this. I feel like the first hour is always just me drawing it out. I mean, I can't stress the importance of trying to do the best you can with this part of it. Keeping it correct. I mean, even at this stage, I'll start to have apply the shadows. Nailing a likeness is probably one of the most challenging things because there's so many subtleties to the human, so many little dents and nooks and things that make it, go from a generic face to a portrait of, a celebrity or something like that. Like, especially when you see those like fan art, Star Trek or Star Wars or some Marvel movie fan art done by some hobbyist, and you see it's almost there, like the portrait is almost there, and there's just some subtle little things that make that not Chris Evans' face, even though it's the Captain America portrait, and somebody is, oh yeah, I'll pay, for that print, even though it's slightly off. And those subtleties. Oh, Patrick, you're asking how much did Sid Mead influence my work? Um, I mean, probably not as much as so many concept artists that grew up wanting to work in film. Um, I mean, my his influence on me was more palette and um, uh, like his design sense and his palette, saturation, the richness of his colors, um, and just his like the overall kind of, I don't want to say, well, yeah, I guess it gets like the narrative in his pieces. Even when he was doing these marketing illustrations for Ford Motor Company, various automakers and plane manufacturers and stuff like that, he was doing these really beautiful illustrations. Um, had a whole kind of happy moment going on. Like you wanted to live in those made up worlds. So I painted these things surprisingly small. I mean, I probably should have assumed that small. But they're not large canvases, not large paint. Doing a lot of his stuff in wash, watercolor, acrylics. That. Um, I mean, I don't know how large his Blade Runner matte paintings stuff were, but I know his concepts were pretty small. I mean, any kid growing up in the '80s that watched Blade Runner, Tron, Aliens, Short Circuit. I mean, who at Pixar hasn't seen Short Circuit? That's a Wall-E joke for you. Any tips on how to identify and fix those subtleties? Sometimes it seems like you have a feeling that it's off, but it's just difficult to pinpoint why. Yeah, look, I mean that it's this those subtleties you have to come through and really stare at a piece for a long time, and um you have to come at it with fresh eyes. You might have to walk away from the piece for a little while and then come back and look at it. Yeah, okay, well, her her chin is actually angled this way, or um I mean, you could always take your photo reference and overlay it over your final drawing, and then when you do that, those errors, those imperfections will just pop out instantly. Like the whole jaw is just shifted slightly to the left or to the right, and um like I'm trying to do that in here, is to very carefully draw this out, but also being aware of the time that I have to do this and trying not to spend all day uh trying to go as fast as I possibly can. But with that speed is coming inaccuracies. Like I already know that there's stuff um that I'm not going to have time to go back in and fix. But um, horizontal and vertical alignments. So if you were to do a drawing of a character or a person, you say, okay, from the tip of the eye to tip of the ear or whatever, or from the tip of the eye straight down, tip of the inside of the eye straight down. Now on the reference, it should be tip of the eye straight down, pass through. Ooh, now I see, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so her chin is further out than I have it. I swooped it in a little bit. Tip of the ear, tip of the eye, down. So the alignment in here is more accurate than what I have for the chin. So that's good to know. So now I can come in here and look at that and say, okay, well, this whole chin, whole line of this chin out. And that's the beauty of doing this digitally. Just kind of skew the place. Ow. Something like that. There you go. But it's a lot of practice and observation, and but I think these red lines are good to keep up there just for the sake of showing that. So now I want to do another alignment. And I always try to draw lightly the shot just so that I can make those alterations as needed. So yeah, I'm gonna just take my time and just draw this one out. This might be a two-parter, so I'll come back in and try to paint her later, next week, which should be cool. That way I'm not trying to just blaze through it. I think there's enough videos. We've done enough of these so far to show like what it will look like if I were to just to blaze through it. But I don't think I've done enough where we're just focusing just on the drawing. Right now I'm trying to measure out the distance from the tip of her chin to the tip of her neck, or the base of her neck. So I'm going to measure that, drop in a little, down about there. And then checking the other alignments of that. Right about there. Bergman. Oh, is that a commercial or something? Who's in here spamming my chat? How do you delete that? I don't know. Bigfollows.com. If you guys want followers, go to bigfollows.com. Ergman says so. Pretty sure that's legit. Not a Russian bot or something like that. Right? Click on the name and then go to ban. Perfect. All right, thanks. On the name. And oh, show mod actions. There we go. Ban. Pow. Scrape off, Ergman. Scrape off. Should pound on my chest a bit. All right. We did another alignment. What I want to achieve is this, where like the tip of the edge of her nostril is in alignment with like the tip of her mouth. That's what I want to go for. So I've already kind of placed in where her nose, her nostril is. Thinking this is like, I'm nitpicking it, but that's fine because I'm not rushing. So getting a little hint. And I know if you're doing concept art, you're probably like, oh my god, why is this guy taking so long painting a face? I would have had half the body done by now. Adding the robot textures and stuff. Oh, not erase. Okay. Got really nervous about the size of her nostril. I don't know the correct nose terminology, so it's a really nice kind of chalky brush quality. Quality. I was thinking about doing the shading separate layer. think for pieces of this, I'll keep it all in one layer. And then use something like that. I don't usually like to draw pieces like this. I like to just try and get it all down first, or at least my landmarks and all that stuff. Then go back in. This is just fun. Yeah, the red lines are guidelines. So it's just checking my alignments, making sure that things are more or less in the right place. And just building up this drawing. Not with flat gradients, but just line, cross hatched or hatched along. Looking at the shape that the shadow underside of her lip. Should probably save. This is the kind of stage that I don't typically commercial illustration. Just want to try to get it done as fast as I not worry about accuracy of drawing, but it's always fun to just get these other alignments in there, these other landmarks. Point for the ear. Oh, and I also have a nice, really cool brush I use, putting in, like, doing different types of shading. Got a really nice quality. Gives it a very traditional look. And I can use that middle tone value of paper, scanned paper, fill in the blank, give me some more information. Cool, fun, right? One of my former instructors in college posted a 2-hour portrait oils. So good, so amazing. He's been doing it for a long time. That kind of understanding of how to paint in a certain at a certain speed, and just know how to do it and to attack it confidently. It takes time. It takes many years to do. Rendering it just a little bit might be a little more interesting for anybody just to see, right? Scratchy line. Test. Is Eric on the right layer? Yes, I could. We're in the ballpark. Man, I don't do this enough. This should be a lot faster. So, 20-year-old me is like, you're still on the face? You're still rendering that eye? You haven't even done the second eye yet. 20-year-old Mimi is like, eye's not going anywhere. I'll get to this. Eyebrows off. What kind of paper am I using? This is actually a scan of my uh, my sketchbook paper from like a toned. It's just like um, it's just like a scanned paper from my one of my sketchbooks. I scanned it and then I just repeated it, duplicated the scan. Um, I've got a couple of sheets and tried to take out any kind of little imperfections and nicks and stuff like that. But I really love it because I love that grainy uh, texture. And when I'm drawing on it, it makes me forget that I'm doing this digitally on a on a Cintiq. Wow, wow, Patrick, that's horrible. Friend of mine seriously asked me, "Isn't digital painting a lot easier because you can turn on a layer and it's done?" Wow. Yeah, that's I mean, so I did a few illustrations a couple years ago where I was toggling between um I was doing these some stuff for a card game and I was doing half the illustrations. It was 10 pieces. I did half of them digitally and I did the other half in oils. So while one illustration was drawing on my easel, I was working on another one digitally and back and forth. And what I've discovered was that if I started both pieces at the same time, one digital and one oil, they took me approximately the same amount of time to do, minus drying time. So if we were to say, if I started both pieces on a Monday, both pieces were done by like Thursday, the oil painting might have taken till Friday morning just because certain areas needed to be dry in order to scan it. So you're looking at, I was looking at maybe a 3 hour difference in work time between the two, which is not a big deal. But I'm also trying my best to not have my digital work, or I'm trying my best to make my digital work look indistinguishable from my oils. So, yeah, like for anybody that says, well, can't you just press a button and make music? I mean, I don't know. Hans Zimmer might say, yeah. But I'm pretty sure you would also say no. There's, you know, you still have to compose the music. You still have to layer a lot of things in different uh, programs and blend it all together and whatnot. It's, people that don't create have no idea how long it takes to get to a point where you can just sit and draw a face from scratch a certain amount of time and have it look halfway, or anything, portrait, an illustration, a whole concept, is no idea how much preparation and practice it takes to get to that point. Digital is not easy. Digital is, it's just another tool. Just another tool. You either know how to paint or you don't. Whether you're doing it digitally or not is relevant. Because my clients don't care whether piece, they don't, nobody ever asks me, well, we want you to do this project for us. Wait, hold on a second. Are you going to be giving us a digital painting or an oil painting? They don't care. Nobody ever asks that. All they want to know is, can you deliver on time? Because all they need is a digital file. They just need a high-res JPEG or a TIFF file. So that's it. All right, we're gonna try and get the second eye in here at least. Get this ear. All right, I'm gonna get this ear and this eye in here, and then we got the jawline, blah, 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 blah. Those forms and all that. Or if someone is like, oh, can't you just put the arm a little bit higher? They don't understand that you fix a lot more than just the arm. Yeah, yeah. The whole anatomy could change. Yep, whole anatomy, whole angle, arm, or whatever it is, changes. You make adjustment. Yep. I think I might. The reason I'm taking my time on this one, trying to get the drawing right, is because I think I might want to paint additionally, but I'm not certain yet. Say that's bags of time to just sit and paint. Nostril right. Those kind of subtleties. Taken away little of her nose, cheek. Making that line, that line a little thinner. Here. Hello, Jessica Hernandez. How are you? All right. Jessica, are you a CG Spectrum student, or did you just stumble in here while looking for shark videos or something on YouTube? It happens. Happens all the time. This is People comment and say this isn't Baby Shark. Sing it for you if you want. That never happened. I wish it did. All right. Let me get the for the umpteenth time. So marking the edge of the left eye to the corner of the right eye, inside corner of the right eye, landmark of out, then measure again from the inside bridge of the nose, outer side, that to there. Correct. Sure that horizontal alignment is correct. These eyes, the eyelids are about the same. Oh, her eyes are not angled. Upper lid is about the same. Her top of the upper lid is the same. So alignments for this. My horizontal that. And closer up on that. Now, for any CG Spectrum student that is watching this or may watch this later, you'll have to dig. You can dig through the general DigiPaint channel to find this post where I have posted the reference for this image drawing. Just these scribbles I'm making here and the forehead are kind of more guidelines for the shadow plane, the top plane of her head. Oh, cool. Cool. Jessica, that's great to hear. Um, Look forward to having you whenever you start. Those alignments are correct. Get really nitpicky about drawing eyes and stuff. I want to be sure, absolutely sure. Right. So when I'm doing my measuring, when I'm doing my alignments, um, I'm measuring from the outer corner of the eye here. I do that measurement. Then I do the bridge of the nose to here to measure the width between here and here. And then I'm also measuring the distance from the tip of the eyelid to the tip of her nostril. So like this is a whole piece. This shape here, and this whole cheek is like one top plane. Then it's going to turn into the shadow. So you see like there's a highlight here, and then it turns, it rolls away because of the cheekbone there. Same thing with this area. This is also a top plane of that cheek side of her face. Turns into the shadow. Have this whole kind of structure there. So get nervous, like trying to make sure I get it all right. I don't have to draw it again, or it just frustrates the crap out of me. So turn. Jessica, do you have a start date? Curious, like you might not have that in. So now measuring the inside corner of the eye to the outer edge of the eye. And do like there. Put the rest of the shape in. This. Now I'm not going to paint or draw in individual. I just kind of, well, really just handle it. Your eye. Socket shape. Structure of this eye. Some care. why I like using like high res images so that you can see all of those little nuances in the eye. I was off. Probably still is. It's accurate enough. Play with the opacity so I can get gradient going in here. Shape of the eye. Ugh, I don't like that at all. I think that eye is way too far away. That's gonna drive me nuts. Alright, make sure I measure this right. Otherwise, I'm just gonna come back and stare at this and I'm gonna eat it. Eye. I mean, it's okay to mess up, okay to make errors. Um, and it's even better if you can see them and fix them. See your errors and make a mental as you're fixing it, like to not do that again or to measure properly or time. I mean, and it's not wildly off, just off enough to make my brain say that's wrong. So now I gotta test out the measurements, the alignments I was just talking about from the tip of the eye, the eyelid to the nostril. Do that again, just to be sure. Is one of those things that if the eye was off or there's something off in your drawing, it's gonna be it might not be noticeable in your drawing, but it will absolutely 100% be noticeable because then you're dealing with light and shadow and trying to create this form um, rendering all these little details, it'll just glow in the dark. It'll just make a bad drawing worse. So still, I'm thinking what the problem is that I haven't put the rest of the shading. Oh yeah, that's the problem, Eric. It's just shading. You didn't just do a bad eye. Just shading. Well, I mean, honestly, if shadows and all that stuff in place, you wouldn't even notice the eye. Aha! Get that in place so you guys will get off my back about drawing a bad eye. Right? Jeez. Peer pressure. Guys are like guys are like Twitter. It's ruthless. That's so what I'm doing here is just uh, shading, creating these hatched lines, seeing like comic book or something. Cross hatching, just going over lines in the direction. Creates value with that's honestly going to dry right. I'll finish the ear first and I'll come back to it. It's gonna. Oh, you know what? One of my students said, Eric, flip the image. Why don't you flip the image? See all my errors. It's not too off. Maybe I'm just beating myself up for no good reason. Oh, that's it. That's what it is. Have her eye is more open than it should be. There it is. Okay. Why didn't you guys say something? Like, you're all just silent. Nobody was like, hey, Eric, your eye's weird. Fix it. No. It's alright. It's okay. It's cool. Cool. Not mad at anybody. My fault. Do this. Get. Such a small. Such a. Seeing it. Such a thing. This still needs to come. Measurements were off. Okay. Okay, it's better. Better than it was. All right, so now I can flip that back. All right, in this last 20 minutes, I'm going to try and this ear blocked in. Shout out to whoever's still watching this and hasn't fallen asleep yet, because I don't have my sick beats playing. Just gotta listen to me breathe. So good. I'm glad that there's still people hanging on, and I love to see whatever you were able to accomplish with your drawings, especially CG Spectrum students. Because this type of practice is so important. Actually, I was just told that I might be able to do like a weekly life drawing class for you guys or with you. I think that still has to be worked out, upper bosses and whatnot, but I think that's going to be a thing. So we always talk about anatomy and perspective and form and drawing and really practicing and honing your skills. And for so many of us, we don't have access. Well, I mean, especially in the middle of a pandemic, don't have access to life drawing classes. Like maybe we would have, based on wherever you are, wherever you live in the world, you might not have access to that stuff. But you can always sit in front of your computer, hand you reference, sit there and draw. I think that's pretty useful. So it's fun for me to just play with the values, gradients like this, and get it all in there. But taking that time, this is all about time. That's 2 hours, give or take, to just sit here and make sure that I'm drawing properly for a future portrait or the rendering digital color stage of this. Picking the crap out of it. Probably help. Look. That's better. Now we have a sear, the values, the highlights and stuff. Selly Pencil Dust. What's your actual name? Are you a student at CG Spectrum? Have I commented on your stuff in the general DigiPaint at any point in time? Because if I know that you're an actual student, then I can let you know. I can notify you when if or when the class becomes a reality, or the open session life drawing becomes a reality, and I can just tag you and say, hey, we're going to be over here drawing, folks. Okay, so you're taking the advanced concept with Brian. Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'll let you know um when it's a thing, or if it when it becomes a thing. This has been fun. So I hope this has been, I know it's a slow going process, but I hope this has been somewhat informative on somebody level of work it takes to draw from a photo reference model. Like typically this would be a 6 hour pose for me. Like the model would be sitting there posing like this. It was a long pose, like 3 to 6 hours, and I'd have that amount of time to get this right, like just for the portrait, get the drawing right, and then move into rendering this thing. Let me block in here. Last couple minutes. Then I have to need to eat something. I'm starving. Getting the shakes. So alignments again. Boy. Like the top of the ear is in alignment with like the bridge of the nose. Bottom of the ear is in alignment with the middle of her. That's the area I have. Okay. So Oof. I've got the horizontal alignment from the her nose tip of the ear to the bottom of the ear. I've got the horizontal alignment, vertical alignment, all that stuff. So staying from the tip of the nose to the earring, tip of the earlobe. Double check that. Internal. From there, from here, from this tip. Do that here. Shadow. I'm just eyeballing the shadow. I'm not gonna get picky about it. More or less where it's at. Hair. I'm not gonna get picky. Hair falls. That's arbitrary. Position and the size of her ear is very important. I'm going to keep on going with this for a few more minutes because I want to get this ear all today. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. Art related. once I get into the inner the shapes of the, I don't, not worried about overall, I'm not worried about accuracy, as more than anything, more concerned with the overall position of ear placement, um, of that curls and hair and stuff. Okay. Yeah, that's what that that comes down to there. This, there. But that, so the back bun of her hair, that the back braids in alignment with the lip. Extend out this whole piece. There. Patrick, are you still on? Are you still, how are you doing with yours? Forward to seeing where you're gonna take it. Again, like the earring is arbitrary. Not gonna worry about whether or not that's aligned and super accurate and all that stuff. But it's fun to work out the values on that. Try to get it right. All right, pencils down. That's all I'm doing. All right. Oh, wait, I take that back. Got the drawer eyebrow. That would bug the crap out of me if I don't. Fill that in real quick. Oh. I want to thank you all for joining me. For anybody that is still standing, still there. Thank you for hanging out. So keep drawing, keep practicing. That's all it is. It's just practice. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. And so yeah. I'll talk to you all, or watch me draw and breathe into the mic and all that stuff. Watch me draw and breathe into the mic next week, same time, 3 p.m. And if you want to see more of my stuff, you can go to Eric Wilkerson Art Instagram. Check out CG Spectrum. They got some cool classes. Right.